Hello dear students and welcome back to the video lectures of social science for class 8th as we have started the geography part of social science and we have started the first chapter that is all about resources. In the previous part we have discussed about what are resources. What are resources? Anything that is present in nature and has some utility or value or it satisfy the human's need is considered as resource. Okay. Now later on we have learned about what are the ways to utilize the resources. As we are knowing that there are several resources that we can consume in its natural way or natural state, but some naturally occurring substances are converted into useful means according to the need of humans. Okay, so humans are credited for changing the forms of the naturally available things into useful resources. Later on we have learned about that how resources have benefited to the humans. Okay, how with the use of resources we have developed, our standard of living has developed. Next we have learned about that what are the broad classification of the resources. As we have learned about, there are three kinds of resources: natural resource, human resource and human made resources. Okay, next we have learned about that what are natural resources. Anything that is present in nature and that has some utility, that means the things that we can consume directly in its natural form are considered as natural resources, like air, water, land, all these are natural resources. Okay, next we have learned about the classification of natural resources. That was the last topic and I have told you that from the next video we are going to start the classification of natural resources. So let's start the chapter first of geography, that is all about resources. This is the second part. Now, types of resources. Broad classification, as I have explained you right now, it is natural, human and human made resources. Okay. Now, first of all, we are going to discuss about the classification of natural resources on the basis of origin. In the previous video also I have explained you that on the basis of origin, that means from where we are getting the resource. Okay, that particular resource. So on the basis of origin, we are having biotic and abiotic resource. Okay, bio means life, that is biotic, and so means whatever living components are available, whatever living resources are available, that are considered as biotic resources. Abiotic, that means physical resources. Okay, the resources that the non-living resources or the physical resources are considered as abiotic resources. I will explain you further properly. Okay, next is on the basis of utility. We can also say that on the basis of our on the basis of stock. Okay, there are some resources used to deplete, as wherever we when we use something, ultimately it causes depletion. So resources also have the characteristic of consumption as well as depletion. The thing that is in nature has to be finished or has to be depleted one day. So there are several types of resources that are, as we are using it, they are depleting. Okay, so on the basis of that only, on the basis of utility or on the basis of stock, okay, there are two kinds of resources: renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Okay, the next type of resources based on the level of development. Like in the previous part I have asked you that the question we have taken, that am I a resource? Okay, in that I have explained you that you children are not a resource because you are in your development phase. Okay, you are developing. We are providing you education, you are learning several skills in technology, we are providing you several trainings so that you can become a developed resource. Okay, like that only, since you are not considered as a resource but a grown up person who is earning for his family, who is earning for the country, who is contributing in the economic development of the country, will be considered as a resource. Like that only, on the basis of development, that means there are several resources that has not been developed in the form that it can be used. Okay, so basis of the on the level of development, there are two types of resources: potential as well as actual resources. Okay, based on distribution, this also I have explained you that it is not necessary that every country or every state is having same resources. Okay, so resources are unevenly distributed. Just take an example of land only. There are several areas that are mountainous, several areas that are plain, desert. Okay, so land is also not evenly distributed. Okay, so On the basis of distribution also, there are two types of resources. One is ubiquitous resources and the other is localized resources. So I hope this classification is clear to you. Let us move further and learn about each and every resource a little bit deep. Now, on the basis of origin, the very first resource is biotic resource. Students, in class 7th also we have learned about the biotic and abiotic factors. Okay, so what is the meaning of the word bio? The meaning of the word bio is life. That means the resources that has life. The naturally, remember one thing, these resources should be natural. Okay, the natural things that has life are considered as biotic resources. Now, biotic resources are obtained from other part of biosphere. They are obtained from biosphere. Okay, they have life, they can grow, they can breathe. Okay, so basically the example of biotic resources are human beings, flora fauna, that means animals and plants, fisheries, that means the aquatic animals, as well as the animals or livestock like the other animals, whatever kind of animals are available, as well as the microorganism, bacteria, fungi, lichens, all are the biotic resources. So I hope biotic resources are clear to you. Now the question arises, what are biotic resources? So the resources, the living components or the resources that has life, okay, the living components of the environment are known as the biotic resources. Okay, is it clear to you? The next type of resources, abiotic resources. Abiotic, the word biotic, a is used before it. Okay, that means that has no life. Okay, so the non-living components or the non-living resources, naturally occurring non-living resources, are considered as abiotic resources. Okay, so non-living means, but it should be natural. Non-living doesn't mean table, chair, car. No, it should be natural. That means the non-living naturally occurring things, that means land, water, air, rocks, minerals, rivers, they are considered as abiotic resources. So I hope it is also clear to you. Is it clear to you that what is the difference between biotic and abiotic resources? Now let us move further and learn some more. Now, on the basis of utility, or we can say that on the basis of stock also, there are two kind of resources, renewable and non-renewable resources. Now, as you can see the spelling of renewable, renewable. What is the meaning of able? That can be possible. Okay, so renewable, that can be renew. That means the resources that can be renewed after depletion are considered as renewable resources. Or we can also say that the resources whose stock is very much in to us, okay, whose stock is unlimited, they are considered as renewable resources. Plants, animals, okay, sunlight, air, it is in a large stock, in unlimited stock. The solar energy, sunlight, okay, these are never going to be never going to be deplete. So that is why they are considered as renewable resources. On the other hand, the non-renewable resources means the resources that cannot be renewed easily. Okay, once depleted, they take a lot of 1,000 of years, a lot of time in reformation. So that is why they are known as non-renewable resources. Let us move further and see more clearly. What are renewable resources? Are renewable or replenishable resources. Replenish मतलब that can be regain, reform, जिसको हम फिर से फॉर्म कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, renewable or replenishable resources which can be renewed or reproduced by physical, chemical or mechanical processes. Like take example of solar energy and wind energy. Solar energy is never going to deplete because sun is having its unlimited stock of energy. If we will talk about water, water followed the water cycle. That means the water is also never going to be depleted from the surface of the earth. It is another thing that there is a scarcity of fresh water on the surface of the earth. That is why we have to preserve water so that fresh water should not deplete. Okay, so that is only. Now one more question arises. So there is the renewable resources, the sunlight, air, land, water, these are the resources that are also known as continuous resources because these resources are never going to be depleted. Okay, and they are also known as perpetual resources. They are also known as perpetual resources. So I hope renewable resources clear to you. Let's move further and learn about the non-renewable resources. Now, non-renewable resources are the resources that cannot be replenished quickly. Okay, or that take a lot of years in its formation or reformation or reproduction. So they are known as non-renewable resources. Okay, example is fossil fuels, the fuels that are made by fossils, or all of us are knowing that what is fossil fuels. The petroleum, coal, natural gases, they are formed inside the surface of the earth by the decantation of dead plants and animals. Okay, so this is non-renewable resources that cannot be replenished easily, or that so much amount we have to spend on it for its renewability. Okay, let's move further and learn about on the basis of development. As I have explained you, since you children are developing, that is why you are not considered as a resource. But I am knowing that the students, those who are learning in my class, they will become a resource. What I have to do is, okay, I have to provide you education, knowledge, technology, training, skills, so that you can become a resource one day. Like that only, there are several resources available on the surface of the earth about which we are knowing. Okay, but we are not able to use it just because the technologies are not yet developed to use those resources. Okay, on the other hand, there are several kinds of resources that we are using today. We are knowing the quantity of that particular resource as well as we are knowing its quality also. Like take example of coal. Coal is there. Coal is a resource about which we are knowing that what are the places in India where coal is available. Basically, coal is available in Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand. So, whatever coal deposits are existing in Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand, we are knowing its quantity as well as there are different kinds of coal. We are knowing its quality also. That means we have developed the technologies to extract the coal from the surface of the earth. Okay, and we are knowing its different quality also, and how people can use it, they are also knowing it. So on the basis of development, the resources that are developed and that we are using in present, they are considered as actual resources. So what are the actual resources? The resources, first of all, the resources that we are using in present. Next, the resources whose quantity as well quality is known to us. The next, the resources for which we are knowing or we have developed the technologies to use it, like coal, iron, gold, silver, all these are the actual resources. Now let us move further and learn about the potential resources. Potential means the ability to do. Okay, so potential resources are the resources about which we are knowing. We are very well aware about it, that yes, these deposits like Ladakh is known for uranium deposits. We are very well knowing that uranium deposits are existing in Ladakh. Okay, but right now we have not developed the technologies that how to extract those uranium. We have not developed the ways to use that uranium, as well as we are not knowing that in how much quantity that uranium is present in Ladakh. We are not knowing that what is the quality of that uranium. Okay, so this is only the resources that are known to us in present, but we are not able to use it, but we are going to use it in future. Okay, so they are known as the potential resources. What are potential resources? The resources that are not used in present, but they can be used in future. The resources about which we are knowing, but there is a requirement of lots of research, okay, to use those resources. Lots of technological development is required to use those resources. So I hope it is also clear to you. Let's move further and learn about on the basis of distribution. Distribution, as I have explained you, resources are unevenly distributed, but there are several resources which are evenly distributed. Like if I'll ask you about that, if you are in India, okay, if you are in India, that means in India you are getting sunlight. Whether you are going USA, China, in any country, there also you are getting sunlight. Okay, okay, sunlight, air, water, land, these are the resources that are available on whole earth surface. That means the resources that are available everywhere are considered as ubiquitous resources. Okay, ubiquitous resources, the resources that are present everywhere are considered as ubiquitous resources, like example air, light, water, etc. Now localized resources, it is clear by its name only. Localized resources means the resources that are available at certain places, like coal is not available in Uttar Pradesh. Okay, coal is not available near our house, coal is not available near our school. there is a specific place or at certain places where coal deposits are found, like I have explained you in Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand. Okay, like that only iron deposits are also there at certain places only. Diamond is also present at certain places. So the resources that are not present everywhere but they are available at certain places are considered as localized resources. Okay, I hope it is clear to you. Let's move further. Man-made resources, it is quite clear to you. It is clear with its name only. The resources that are made by humans. It can be chair also, it can be table also, it can be book also, it can be buildings also, road also, bridges also, railway tracks also, train, ship. There are lots of things, computer, mobile, that are created by humans. Okay, now let's move further. What are human resources? Human being itself is a resource. So humans consist or constitute the human resources. Okay, like whatever human, we teachers, okay, or the people, those who are doctors, policemen, all are the human resources. Okay, let's move further. Conservation of natural resources. So students, what is the meaning of conservation? The meaning of the word conservation means to conserve, means to protect. As we have learned about that we are using the natural resources, and we are also knowing that the population on the surface of the earth is increasing day by day, but the natural resources are in limited quantity. Okay, there are several natural resources that are in limited quantity, and the population is increasing so rapidly that it is exerting pressure. Take example of land. Okay, the population is increasing, everyone needs land to build their houses, to build their shops. So people, what they have started, they have started exploiting the land or exploiting the nature. What they have started, they have started cutting the forest for making roads, for making their houses. Okay, so this is creating imbalance in the environment. So conservation of resources is very important, to conserve the resources so that it can be left for the people in the future generation. Okay, now let's move further. What is the necessity of conserving the natural resources? As we are knowing that natural resources are the biggest asset of any country. The country that are rich in natural resources and they are knowing that how to use the resources are developed. Okay, so natural resources should be preserved and should be utilized in a way that can be retained for a long period of days, for a long years. Okay, that is why there is a need of conserving the natural resources. Take example of a tree only. Okay, the importance of tree. From tree only we are getting paper, is also manufactured with the help of tree only. From tree only we are getting oxygen. Okay, tree is consuming the carbon dioxide. Tree is reducing the erosion of the soil. Tree binds the soil, na root of the tree binds the soil, as well as it also prevent flooding. It also provide medicines, fruits, and lots of things are being provided by the tree. Okay, now if the tree being cut down, if the many trees are being cut down, it will imbalance or it will impact the environment negatively. Okay, this is only one example. We are also exploiting the land, we are exploiting the water resources, we are polluting water, we are polluting soil. With the human interaction only, the land is also being degradation. Okay, so this is all, that is why there is a need to protect the environment. Okay, now the question arises, how we can protect the environment? Okay, the very simple thing is that by following the 3 R's. Okay, by using, by reducing, by reusing, by recycling. Like paper. Okay, take example of paper only. Paper can be, first of all, how we can protect or how we can conserve trees. Okay, by reducing the use of paper, we can reduce the use of paper, as well as if we are using the paper, we can reuse it again. Okay, we can reuse it again, as well as we can recycle the paper. Okay, the things that can be recycled should be recycled, so that again and again the tree should not be cut down. So we have to follow the idea of 3 R's, that is reduce, reuse, and recycle. As well as we have to conserve water. We have to be careful that we save water, because fresh water is 1 or 2% in the earth's surface. As well as we have to educate others to conserve resources. Okay, we have to like shop wisely, that we have to stop the use of plastics. Okay, we have to utilize electricity in a proper way. We have to use the energy efficient lights, okay, as well as we have to switch off the lights whenever it is not in use, switch off the fans. We have to conserve electricity with this. We have to plant more and more tree to balance the ecology or the environment, as well as we should avoid using chemical fertilizers. We should avoid using chemical residues in the water bodies, okay. So these are the basic ways to protect the environment or to conserve the environment, okay. Now one more thing is there, that is sustainable development. Conserving the resources, that means we have to protect the resources, and sustainable development is the basic principle of the conservation of resources. What is sustainable development? The basic definition of sustainable development is the judicious use of resources, okay. Judicious use of resources, that means we have to use the resources properly and to conserve the resources so that it can be available for the future generation also. That is only known as the sustainable development. That means we have to protect the resources so that it can be, and we have to use it so wisely that it can also be available for the future generation, okay. So I hope sustainable development is clear to you. Such an easy definition. The use of, the judicious use of the natural resources as well as conserving the natural resources for the future generation is known as sustainable development, okay. So this is all for the second part, students. This chapter is completed now, okay. I will also explain you this chapter through Zoom classes. I hope, please watch the video carefully, attend the Zoom classes, ask your queries if you have any doubt, and fill your book exercises. We will provide you the PDFs for writing the question answers. We have to continue this way of study until and unless the government does an order to open the schools, okay. So please be patient, please try to study, because it is, we are, we are getting the most demerit of this lockdown, okay, or the closing of schools. So please watch the video. Thank you everyone.